What's up, guys? This is E-House, and I'm going to be talking to you about a real gun. This is my Ares Defense SCR. I live in New York, so this is one of the few AR-15-ish options that is currently legal under the New York State SAFE Act. Just to start off, magazine is empty, chamber is clear, so the weapon is safe to obviously talk about and have out and point in a safe direction still. Rules of firearms still apply. But I'm going to talk to you about my experience owning this gun. I've owned this gun for, I want to say 6 or 7 months, and I've been running it just as a general range plinker. I mean, I'm not a super tactical kind of guy. I don't do a ton of tactical shoots, although I did run this at a tactical shoot at the firing pin out in Bergen under the instructor Joe D'Ambrosia. And I'm just going to let you know my thoughts on it. Currently, I have it set up with a Meprolite M21 optic, which is a tritium enhanced red dot, and that is the only optic of any kind that I've run on it. And although I did run a Bushnell TRS on it, which actually worked a bit better for reasons I'll get into. So let's talk about some of the things I think this gun is good for, some of the things I think this gun is not good for. First of all, is this a replacement for an AR-15? In my opinion, no. There are things it does well that it does better than other semi-auto rifle options. For example, the ability to accept AR-15 accessories, such as it'll take any AR-15 upper, it'll take any AR-15 magazine. That is all great, but it doesn't have the speed of use. It doesn't have the ease of controls. It doesn't have the general feel of an AR-15. First of all, there's the crossbolt safety. The crossbolt safety is adequate and is generally pretty good. You can get it off and get it back on, but that requires shifting your hand, especially on mine, because the crossbolt safety is so stiff. And you're not able to actuate that crossbolt safety on a whim at a moment's notice the same way you're able to actuate a selector switch from safe to semi-auto. So it's a bit of a pain, especially because I don't have wimpy little girly hands, but for my hands, getting that to go requires putting some serious effort into it. So the safety is one downfall. The other big downfall is the magazine release. You are not able to drop the magazine free from your shooting hand. You have to either move your shooting hand so that you can reach the magazine release, or you need to use your non-firing hand to actuate it and grab the magazine. There are guys who will install ambidextrous magazine releases in order to be able to strip the magazine that way, but if you take a look here, a magazine release, an ambidextrous magazine release, will generally have the button here. That is still going to be a bit of an awkward movement to try to grab and place your hand there. And I'm assuming you're running a 10-round magazine. Maybe you're running a 10-30, but even on a 10-30, it's a bit of an awkward movement. So the magazine release is definitely not a quick swap. And the other thing that people don't talk about with this is how short the magwell is, and the magwell is not particularly relieved. So there's no real wide mouth on the magwell to guide the magazine in, and there's no real ability to strip the magazine quickly, or at least anywhere near as quickly as on a normal AR-15. Then there's no bolt catch. They sell the bolt catch extra for $35, which is honestly kind of infuriating because the bolt catch is right here. You can see that that little spot is already machined out. That's just a little block sitting in there. So the bolt catch is pretty much left out of the manufacturing process, which is a little bit irritating and, again, limits the ability of the platform to be quickly reloaded because the charging handle is pretty awkward to actuate normally. Now, I'm intentionally, very intentionally, I've got my hand all the way back and all the way down on here to the point where it's actually pretty much uncomfortable. So you can do that, but generally when I'm shooting this, I've got my thumb up here as is traditional on rifle stock. I don't see too many people desperately clinging to keeping the flat of their thumb down here. Usually, you're going to be holding it up higher, a high tang grip, and when you try to use the charging handle, you run into your thumb. So you generally have to use your firing hand to actuate the charging handle. That's a lot slower. A side charging upper receiver would actually resolve much of this issue as long as it didn't have a reciprocating charging handle, but it doesn't come with one. Talk about how the gun comes in factory configuration. The other issue I've had with this gun is that, and this is unique to mine, I'm going to say this is unique to mine because I haven't heard anyone else complain about it. If you break this gun down, the bolt sitting in the bolt carrier has the gas rings around it, or the seal rings, whatever you want to call them. They're very, very tight in there. So that took a significant amount of break-in before the bolt would actually close fully into battery every single time, and I would get a dead trigger every now and then from where the bolt would actually sit slightly out of battery, and obviously the gun's not going to fire. It's designed that way for safety. So that took a good bit of break-in, and even now, the trigger is a little, again, unique to mine possibly, the trigger is a little picky about how you pull it. If you pull it, good, straight back, solid break, it's no problem. But I found that depending on if you pull it a little bit up or if you pull it side to side, it will fail to fire. You'll get somewhat of a click as if you've broken past a sear, but nothing happens. The hammer doesn't drop, and then if you let it go and pull it again, it'll go. So the trigger's a bit particular about how you pull it, and you can ask any of my friends who've shot this gun, they've all had it happen to them at least once. It's a bit of a problem on what ostensibly would be, I mean, if you're buying this as a combat rifle, it's not. This is not a combat rifle, in my opinion. This is not something you're going to want to have as a dedicated home defense rifle. This is an SCR, a sport configurable rifle. This is a sporter. Now, for that role, I think it's a damn good sporter. It shoots well, it's fun to shoot, it's pretty comfortable to shoot. It's got a wide variety of customization. It takes a lot of magazines. There's a lot you can do with it, but there's a lot you can't do with it. So if you're expecting this to be, an AR-15 replacement and you're expecting to be able to configure this into a combat rifle, I don't recommend it. I'd recommend something like a Sega Sporter, which is ironically a much better combat rifle replacement, or I would recommend something like, honestly, an SKS. This is just, I think it lacks some of the features of ergonomics and speed that would make it a good, combat rifle or direct AR-15 replacement. An AR-15 with a Thorsden stock is probably going to be a better choice for that. But what this does better, in my opinion, is just the general ergonomics. The Thorsden stock is a bit uncomfortable, so the actual shooting experience with this feels like a sporting rifle. So if you're looking for an AR-15 compatible sporting rifle, I would recommend the SCR. If you're looking for an AR-15 replacement combat rifle, you're going to want to look elsewhere. So yeah, those are my thoughts, and this is E-House signing off.